now.
Final.
Out west. That would be the Warriors. That would be the Mavs.
Yeah.
They've done.
The Dubs in this position, they seem familiar. They're favored. Mavs seem like Luka, well, he could be here a while, another decade.
Likely.
Game 1 from the city tonight, and those two guys play the same position. Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, different games, certainly. They won by 25. It is a blowout. Luckily, it only counts for one. Here's this nugget. Golden State won 13 straight best of 7 series after winning game 1. So it's an important nugget. 4th longest NBA streak. 2nd longest active behind the Lakers, who are not in the postseason this year. Warriors are 19-1 in series when taking the opening contest. The one loss, that 3-1 special in 2016 in the finals. So Dallas, a lot of numbers working against them, as well as Clay and Steph and Draymond Green. Let's bring in Tim Legler, who takes copious notes while watching basketball games. He's really an advanced scout, just disguised as a TV personality. Tim, it seemed to me three-point shooting wasn't great. Like, there's a place in the game for 2-point shots. The offense was really nice from Golden State, even if it wasn't this wear you out with the 3 ball we're used to seeing.
Yeah, it was. And look, we'll get to Luka in a minute because that's a whole nother issue. But I actually think Golden State is going to win this series on the other end of the floor because they're so hard to guard. But I think Dallas contributed to it in the first half because they gave them some opportunities to get freebies. And you cannot give those to Golden State, whether it's after a turnover or after score situations. I mean, this is after 2 made free throws. And you got Jordan Poole going coast to coast all the way to the rim for basically an uncontested layup. Here again, Brunson with the miss. And now here comes Golden State on the run out. Nobody gets back. Don't stop ball. You get all the way to the rim if you're Steph Curry. Can't allow it. One more opportunity here. That's a bad gamble by Luka Doncic. You put your team in a tough spot, and now you're chasing the basketball. And against this team, you rarely catch up to it, John. And I just thought early in the game, Dallas State contributed basketball instead. And they didn't play well in the first half. But if you go into the locker room, probably in a tie game, if you don't allow some of the easy stuff that you gave Golden State, you have to make them work every trip. But ultimately, they've got a lot of shot makers, a lot of weapons, a lot of multi-dimensional offensive players. So you can't contribute to your own demise by not getting back in transition or by taking bad risks defensively to put your team in a bad position.
Talked about that basketball moving. The players move too. And you like to watch Klay Thompson when he puts up numbers and never dribbles, right? This is the guy we're used to seeing pre-injury, at least tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And in addition to the easy stuff you can't allow, you also have to deal with their movement. And Klay Thompson, you know, he was really non-existent in the first half. Just didn't get it going, didn't get opportunities. But, man, did he get going in the third. And here's how. You know, you get a miscommunication on that guard split. Klay Thompson with a dive to the rim. Nice find by Looney. Here he is again. Seeing him off an early pin down. This is off a one-pass offense. He comes out, gets a clean look one more time. Runs all the way from the left block to the right wing and ends up on the right block for a short pull-up jumper. And then here again, you're trying to play on the high side. Great back cut. So even though he didn't get it going in the first half, Golden State's up 9. What happens in the third quarter? Well, the one guy that didn't really get going basically kills you in the first 6 minutes of the third quarter to put this game out of reach for the most part. And again, John, this is why I think Golden State is a completely different animal to guard than Phoenix was even in the last round for Dallas. Dallas has been a very good defensive team for a couple of months. This requires incredible amount of communication to guard this team because of the number of guys that can beat you and the way that they move bodies around, and they always seem to find the guy when it's his turn.
Yeah, that was rude welcoming them to the Western Conference Finals. By the way, you showed 4 Klay buckets. He dribbled 3 times. Now let's get to Luka because they contained him. 20 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. It's great for a lot of guys. Not that dude.
This is the worst he's looked in the postseason by far. He looked slow tonight. I didn't think he was aggressive enough. He looked indecisive. And Golden State pulled off the one thing Phoenix could not. Golden State managed to put enough bodies in front of Luka to provide help on his penetration and force turnovers without getting gutted at the three-point line, because that's where Phoenix seemed to give Luka the best of both worlds. They either played him straight up and he destroyed them in single coverage, or when they decided to roll an extra guy to him, he managed to pick them apart because Phoenix wasn't quick enough to the three-point line to close out. Golden State was flying around the court tonight defensively. They play small lineups. They have 5 guys that can chase you out there. And I thought they did a really nice job putting somebody in his lap and also being able to recover out on those kickouts. Let's see what Dallas is going to do to adjust. They're going to be much better than they were tonight offensively. I think the problems defensively will be there the entire series.
All right, Tim, thanks. We've seen you the last 2 nights. I have one request. Okay, if you're going to be at home like this, where's the Magic Johnson, Larry Bird picture? Can we get that on the shelf behind you?
Yeah, you got it. Okay. I made a move. It's in a box. I'll get it out for you, especially
I don't want
for you.
excuses. I want the picture, Tim. Okay?
Tomorrow.
You got it.
Very good. Thanks.
Rick Barry for the most 35-point games, age 23 or younger. Doncic was the second best scorer versus the Warriors in the regular season. So Christopher Mad Dog Russo, I ask you this, sir. Who has the higher ceiling? Is it Steph Curry or Luka Doncic?
Well, Curry has already established himself as, one of the all-timers. He's won his 3 championships. He gets another one without Durant. That would raise it even more. But I think we all know where Curry is. Again, I said in the first hour of the show, Doncic, he reminds me, I know you don't like it. I'm an old-timer. He doesn't know what he's talking. He reminds me a lot of Larry Bird. There is just his personality. There are some similarities. He's arrogant. He loves to beat you. He laughs at his opponent, and then he goes out there and he beats his opponent. He's averaged 40 a game in the elimination games. He could have scored 70 against the Phoenix backcourt last Sunday night in Game 7. He had 27 at the half, 57-27 before Kidd called mercy on the poor Suns, who were a disaster in that 7th game. Here with this Golden State series. He's playing with house money. The Mavericks do not have the supporting cast that the Warriors do. I like Golden State in 5 games. I think they'll probably win this series in 5 games. I know Stevie said maybe 7. I think 5. But Doncic, specifically, as a basketball player, the fact that he can shoot threes, and I know his percentage isn't great, but he makes big ones, and his distance is phenomenal. Who can forget the 3 he made to beat the Clippers 2 years ago in the bubble? He's great back to the basket. He's a great passer. He gets there. I don't care about missing free throws, 70%. He makes his free throws. This guy is an all-timer. You guys, we did the list with the point guards. Paul here and this guy there, and where is Kidd, and how could you put Kuzi? I'll come back in 12 years. I'll be finished, but he'll still be flying, and I'll put Doncic in the top 5, and he'll be deserved to be there. This guy is tremendous, and his upside is going to be higher at the end of the day than Curry is.
Doggy, you won't be finished. You're an immortal. You never forget that.
Thank you.
From the words of Molly Karen, an immortal.
That means
Take
something.
it to the bank.
I mean something. All right, let's hear from you, Stevie.
Go ahead, Miami Vice. Relax.
The ridiculousness that gets spewed out of your mouth is just, it's amazing, I must confess.
What are you complaining about?
Let me tell you this. Steph Curry this season has averaged 25, 6, and 5.
Right.
On 43.7% shooting.
Right.
And 38% from three-point range.
Right.
And that's a bad year. That's a bad year. This man is the greatest shooter God ever created. That would include Larry Bird. Larry Bird couldn't shoot like this kid. Larry Bird. Okay? So let's be very, very clear who we're talking about here. I'm not going to deny the greatness of Luka Doncic and what he could potentially be, the greatness that we're witnessing from him. I'm not throwing any shade on him. But didn't you just talk about a different subject just a little less than an hour ago? Wasn't it you who said, quote, could you at least get 1 ring? Wasn't that you? I think that was Mad Dog Russo. I think I was sitting on the air listening to Mad Dog Russo, and he specifically said, could you give me 1 ring first? Could you give me 1 ring? Steph Curry has 3. 3. Steph Curry's going to 5 NBA championships in a row. 5 NBA finals in a row. Steph Curry, without question, right now, would be a surefire first ballot Hall of Famer. And when we go, are you ready for this? Put Doggy back up on the screen. I want to see his face when I say this. Put it back up there.
I'm here.
Pete Maravich, Dale Ellis, right? You know, Ricky Pierce, Larry Bird, Andrew Toney. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Allen Houston to a lesser degree, Ray Allen, Reggie Miller. I mean, the list goes on and on. Nobody is a better shooter than Steph Curry. Ever. And you're telling me that Luka Doncic, who by the way, is literally 2 weeks removed from winning his first playoff series. Right. And Mad Dog Russo is up here bloviating with all of these superlatives and these histrionics and this hyperbole about Luka Doncic. I'm not saying you're wrong about his talent. I'm not saying you're wrong about his greatness. But to just sit up there in one breath 45 minutes ago talking about a guy, can you give me one ring? One ring. And Steph Curry's got 3. He's got 3. And look, and by the way, what about the system? What about the fact that Rick Carlisle was once coaching Dallas, and he said, quote, to me, I woke up and I said, what the hell am I doing? Give him the ball. Let him run the offense. So you got Luka literally running the offense, holding the ball in his hands, a la LeBron James, and deciding and dictating pace, when he's going to pass the ball, who he's going to pass the ball to, etc. Steph Curry running all over the place, moving without the basketball, and firing from everywhere. What are you talking about, Doug?
I'm going to give you 2 things. We'll get to Bird in a minute. How did Steph do last year when Thompson wasn't on the team? Did they get out of the first round? They didn't even get into the first round.
They didn't even get out the playing game. They lost to Memphis.
All right.
They lost to Memphis.
Would you, if I asked you right now, if you were the Golden State GM, I'll give you Dinwiddie, you give me Thompson. You think he'd make the trade? He would not. Doncic has absolutely nobody around him. Even Porzingis was a bust. He's got nobody there. Those are role players. Curry has a Hall of Famer in Thompson, a budding superstar in Poole, and Green, who does a little bit of everything. And Green, you know, I wouldn't necessarily vote for him, Hall of Famer too. So from that standpoint, you were talking about 2 Hall of Famers that he is playing with. You got a Hall of Famer on Doncic's team right now? And here it is, Doncic is in the conference final. And I'll tell you one other thing. What, did you not see the game on Sunday night? That is a team that won 64 games. And he destroyed them. He embarrassed them. They got booed out of the arena. Yes. At halftime, they got booed. They never boo in Phoenix. They booed him out of the arena. They made you a point guard. They made you a point guard. He was a 0 in the game. Booker was 3 for 18.
One game, yes.
This guy could have scored 70. He scored 27 at the half, and he's got nobody with him. And by the way, if the three-point shot was what it is today, back in the 80s, Bird would have scored 50 a game. He won every three-point shooting contest he ever was involved in. He made every mid-ranger in the world, and he was a 90% free throw shooter. Outside of one jumper when he was bad, he had a broken hand when he missed the Game 4 jumper against Magic in 1985. I don't recall ever a big shot in a big game that he ever missed. Don't compare anybody. Anybody offensively.
Don't compare.
He's a dog.
Don't compare.
Bird is one of the great scorers that he's compare in the history of the sport.
Larry Bird is one of the greatest players to ever grace this earth. I love Larry Bird's game, and he was Mr. Clutch. And he walked into a three-point shooting contest and said, who's coming in second place? Okay. That's what he said, because it was always said, we know how great Larry Bird is. I'm not taking anything away from Larry Bird. Who is, time out. With all of that being said, who is the greatest shooter ever? Who is that? Who is universally recognized as the greatest shooter the game has ever been blessed with.
We got to get in a commercial
Sam
break.
Jones.
It's Steph Curry.
Sam Jones.
A new hand gesture just came in, and that'd be this, right? For Stevie. Poor Stevie. That was a tough one for Stevie. All right, let's keep it going.
Really?
here.
Really?
When we come
Really?
back-
You lost that one, Steve.
Oh,
Really?
Steve.
No, I didn't.